Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Revenue Agency Podcast. It's Ryan and Brittney Hall, or as some people call him, Brian Paul. See, this is what I told you last
You
freaking
can't.
episode. I get weird
Yeah, you're weird.
with these
She's weird.
intros. I get really weird. I think I should have my own TV show. It would be incredible.
You should be a
Well,
game show host.
oh my God, it'd be so good. I'd be like, that was a fucking stupid answer.
That'd be a good one. It'd have to be on cable so you could use profanity.
Yeah, or like maybe like a radio show, like that would be fun. People have always said that I'm actually like a great like guest co-host on like podcasts. I think I'd be killer on like a TV show, like on The View, but like for cool people. Be awesome on something like that, like a panel. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Go on, maybe go on Tucker Carlson.
Oh my gosh. One Lutheran man in my life is enough. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, hey guys, welcome. Well, when you're listening to this, it might have just turned 2026. Okay. We are encroaching on a new year as we're recording this. And this is going to be a short and sweet little podcast for you. But I really want to. Ryan's like, what are we talking about? I really
I'm
want to
always
get
like, what are
down
we
and
talking
dirty.
about? And she's like, I don't know. Play,
I want to get
record.
down and dirty, Ryan, about New Year's. New Year's. Okay, here's the thing. I think New Year's catches a bad rap because there's so many people that they have these intentions, resolutions, and that's the thing too. People are now hating on the word resolution. We're not creating resolution. We're blah blah blah. And then they call it New Year's intentions. And okay, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't give a shit. But what it is you're saying that you're hoping and wanting to create a change in your life. That's really what it is. And it doesn't mean changing because something's bad. It could be an increase in what you're already doing because you're on the right track. It might be that you need a radical change in your life because, shit's not going well. And so it's our brains go, this is a really great time to do that. It's a fresh start, and then there's the people who are like, you don't need a new year. It's just every day is a new opportunity, every minute. Okay, well, who gives a shit? However, your brain thinks and what's going to motivate you is the best way to lean into it. But there is this magic, I think, of starting a new year. How I've always worked is I love a new year. I love to clean out the house. I love to get everything kind of, it's a time to purge and really reflect and then think about what you're going to create the next year. Sometimes I have a word that's like inspired for me that I think that's really going to be set the intention for my year coming up. But then my birthday's in March, and that always feels like a really new year to me as well. That almost feels like more of a new year to me. It's like this next new year of life that I'm going to be living. So there's that. But I would say don't hate on it. Don't hate on the new year. But I would encourage you all to take some time to get quiet and think about your 2025. And I want to give you some questions. And Ryan, you can add on to this because you're very good at this stuff.
Mm.
I want to give you some questions to really think about in reflecting because we have to look at where we've been and the results and the energy and all that stuff that happened, where we are before we think about where we can go. And it doesn't mean that we have to have a lot of emotions around it or that it has to be depressing or exciting or this or that. Like, don't judge it, but just what was it as like a data point? Like what were the things that really lit you up this last year? Like the moments that you're like, oh, that just felt so good. It felt so peaceful. It just gave me a ton of energy. Like I loved that. Like what were those moments? And then what were the moments where you were like, wow, that really drained my energy. That was really hard. It didn't feel good. Like even those relationships, I've had to examine friendships even in my life where I go, every time I'm in the presence of that person, it just doesn't kind of lowers my frequency. It doesn't make me feel good. Like just being in their presence and how they act. It's like, so maybe this next year I need to distance myself a little bit more from those people. Or who are the people that really lit you up? Spend more time with them. So that's one way to look at it. Like, how are your finances? Like, were there things that came up that you weren't prepared for? Was there lack? Was there just like abundance and peace around your finances? Like, what did that really look like? Were you irresponsible? Did you spend money on shit that you probably shouldn't have? And that put you in a bad spot, Like, look at your finances. Right? You want to add on anything to these?
I would take the. It seems like we're always talking about sitting and getting quiet, right? Because I really think that is important because there's so much noise out there right now,
Yeah.
right? This thing's dinging. Okay. We're trying to scroll,
Your
emails are
kids are
pinging,
talking to you.
huh?
Kids are talking to you. We were in the middle of a conversation earlier. Our kids come in, hey, daddy, like they mean well, but we're like, or like we're getting interrupted. We're in the middle of like a conversation, you know?
Yeah, the dogs are barking, the doorbell's ringing because you have another Amazon delivery. Like there's a lot of noise, right? So I think it's very important to just sit and get quiet and reflect on last year. And I'm not a big, oh, it's a new year, new me. I'm not that guy.
No.
But I think it's very good to like reflect on what you've been doing the last 6, 8, 12 months, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
and decide what you liked, what you didn't like, what worked and what didn't, and then really what you want your next season to be.
Yeah. And then, so I guess I always think of goals or reflection points broken down into four categories. So there's our physical health. Okay. How you doing on that? How do you feel about it? And here's the other thing. Don't get into the bullshit of like body positivity and blah, blah, blah. If you're fat, you're fat. Like, whatever. Like, I'm not fat, but I definitely don't have the muscle that I want to have. So it's like I'm looking at like composition. Like my weight's healthy. I feel pretty good. I'm like, I'm getting closer to 40. Some stuff like aches more than maybe it used to, but it's pretty damn good most of the time. So I want to gain a lot of strength. So that's where I'm at my physical health, right? So your physical health. And then how about your spiritual health? That's like your mindset, your connection with your creator. Um, just like your energy around that. Do you feel like you're actually giving that time? We have not been going to church for a long time. And not that I think that somebody has to go to church, but it does set aside a designated time to really connect and get centered and learn and listen, maybe for like what God has for you in that hour. And, connecting to people who have similar goals in that way. So how's your spiritual health? Now, how's your relationships? How are your relationships? How's your relationship if you're married or with your boyfriend? Or does that person make you feel bad? And is that one of the negative people in your life? Do you need to change some things there? How's your relationship with your kids, with your parents, with your siblings? And some things can't be helped. But, how is that going? Your relationships. And then lastly, how's your financial health? And that's one, that we already kind of talked about. Like, so you've got to rate yourself in these four categories. And then I would pinpoint the one that you're probably ranked the lowest in. And I would create some goals around that. Because the thing is when you get really clear on your desired outcome and you're really cleaning up that part of your life, the others will most likely improve just by default. And Ryan, how many people have we helped hit goals? My God. So many.
Thousands?
So many people.
Thousands. Do you think it would be, when you were talking about relationships, do you think it would be a good time to reflect on those that you should prune? Because we've done that before.
Yeah.
Like even as I'm saying this, is there somebody that pops into your mind that's like, I know
You
I
usually
can't,
know.
I know I shouldn't have that person in my life, but enter excuse here.
And
Right?
what's crazy, this is a couple years ago, but Ryan, do you remember we were at an Optavia event?
I remember it.
And what's so crazy is there was multiple people that had the same experience of the answer. And this was a tough one because I didn't know how the hell I was ever going to get out of this relationship. Is in my network marketing company, there was just a person, it was my mentor, my upline that was a very good friend of mine, but there was just some toxic patterns and behaviors and some funny control and like feeling like I couldn't do what I wanted and that I always had to like include them or get it okayed, which is so weird. But it's very typical in a network marketing type industry. And a very dear friend of mine who we weren't in each other's businesses, but we were both in that one bigger business. As I said, who clicked into my mind? And I told her, and she goes, oh my God, us too. And I thought, well, I'm not going to quit the business. Like, how can I get away from this person? I didn't know what God had for me down the road, but he planted the seed in that moment, the awareness of this person is not going to serve my life in the long run, but I had no idea how to get out of it. But the seed was planted. And then probably a year and a half, 2 years later, that relationship was finished. And
God took care of it. You didn't, because I think we as humans think, oh, how am I going to figure this out? I don't know how to figure this out. You didn't have to. A situation presented itself and that was it. It was over. And
And
it
I
had nothing to
knew
do with you. It was just like, well, that's over.
that's
Done.
gone. It was like so immediate. And and it was crazy because I remember when that name popped into my mind, I was like, what? Like that can't be. It's like it wasn't from me. It's like that answer wasn't coming from me. It was coming from a higher, power. And it was like, whoa, whoa. But what was so crazy is it was so confirming too, because someone who is a very, very dear friend of mine had the exact same thing. And we weren't even sitting next to each other. Like we didn't even talk about it. Like they were like, us too. That's so crazy. And that now that person is out of both of our lives and for the better. And God has pruned people out of my lives many, many times. And that's the thing is like if you're feeling like I gotta prune some people out of my life, I love Joel Osteen actually has a sermon where he's like, you don't have to go tell them like, hey, we're not friends anymore. You just kind of slowly start distancing yourself. And that's the thing is a lot of times this stuff will take care of itself. So, but we cannot have toxic people in our lives and
Mm-mm.
be obligated to them and expect growth. I mean, I've had a sibling that isn't in my life anymore. And it's still painful. And I think, God, wonder if that's ever going to come back into my life. And how sad, that like we're not in each other's lives. And I just never pictured it to be like that. And that's like my human experience with it. And then I can be sad and I can grieve those relationships. But the reality of it is that person doesn't want to see me succeed. That person doesn't want me to have a great, happy life. That person wants to tear me down and isn't rooting for us. And so, why would we want people? We don't need to be obligated just because we're related, or because of something somebody's done for us. That was the thing with that mentors. I thought, but gosh, she has been really great to me in so many ways. And um, maybe this is me, maybe it's a me thing, but it's like, no, this isn't this isn't good for my life. This person isn't, it's not an equal relationship. It's like not a give. So,
Reciprocal. But I
yeah, it's not
think,
reciprocal.
yeah, but I think that's a very positive thing for a person when they want to, you know, be thinking about what they want for the next year, to have a
Yeah.
better year, because we always want to have this year be better than last. And so that's a hard one. Um, but I think it's important. Like you can't have poison in your life if you're trying to get healthy. You know what I
No,
mean?
no. And I think that, just to make this kind of short and sweet, and as we wrap up, what I would say is because Ryan and I have been through so many seasons of growth and of really hard choices. And so, two pieces of advice I'd give you: make sure that you have at least one person in your life that you can be 100% authentic with, that you can go to when you're scared about something, when you're doubting yourself. And not that that person's a yes person in your life, like no matter what, but that really truly sees you in your heart and knows your dreams and goals and speaks life into you. And I'm so thankful that I'm married to that person. But I also have probably two very close friends that do that for me. And then if you are getting very clear on these goals and where you want to go in this next year and the areas that you want to improve after kind of tapping into those four categories, don't expect it to be just super easy, because when we're going to level up in our life, you have to expect that there's going to be obstacles, because you have to grow as a person to be the person who's going to achieve and create those things. That's just how it works. Is that if you were the person already that you needed to be to acquire those things or have that body or those relationships, then you would already have them. But you're gonna come up against obstacles. You're gonna have to walk through things that are hard, and you're gonna come out of it the other side, because we always do. But don't look at things like it's happening to you and like it's an attack that you have to react to. Look at all of these obstacles as opportunities for growth. Look at them as opportunities for growth and for you to become the better version of yourself and a higher version of yourself and a more calm and peaceful and um, just a better version of you. Because that person, your future self, knows how to handle those obstacles. And so I love this saying, like, let your future self really mentor you. And that's an amazing thing when you can show up in that way of, instead of just reacting when things come up, because they will, because that's how it works. and just really walking through them with grace and poise. And even if it scares the hell out of you, just taking the next step.
Yeah, I think I really like when you said, let your future self mentor you, which kind of sounds like a kooky idea, but not really, because you know what you want to become. Like, I know I want to have 11% body fat, right? Like, that's one of my things. And so in my head, when I'm reaching for a donut, which I don't really like donuts, but if I'm reaching for a donut, my 11% body fat self in the future would say, you really want to do that? Because you're going to have to hit it super hard to get rid of that. Or, you know what? I don't need it.
Yeah, maybe just don't make that choice. Yeah, so good. So, we just want to encourage you. Take some time, get quiet, journal it out. Think about those 4 categories and really think about where you want to go in this next year. And then, every day you just take a little bit of action towards those, and it's insane what you can create in 1 year. So, happy New Year, guys. We'll see you next time.